Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed at 1,000 subscribers. I'll be posting a special video. I grab my husband's phone before I even think. Notification banner still on the screen, chat wide open. I know the passcode, my thumb moves on its own. I'm Aaron, 31, and this is the second I stopped trusting my marriage. The message at the top is not from anyone I recognize. Just a name, Maddie, with a little heart next to it. Under that, a photo preview of a small kid grinning. My first stupid thought is that he must have the wrong number. I tap the thread because of course I do. If I had put the phone down, I would still sleep at night. The chat jumps to the bottom, fresh messages everywhere. Voice notes, photos, little clips of a boy laughing. You know that feeling when your body reacts before your brain? My skin feels hot, but my hands go weird and cold. I scroll up, eyes jumping over their sentences way too fast. They are not talking like old friends, just catching up. There is a picture of my husband with the kid on his shoulders. He looks happy in a way that hits me right in the gut. Under it she wrote, "He missed you all week, he cried tonight." He replied, "I'll make it up to you both, promise." Both? My brain sticks on that word like it caught a nail. Both who exactly, and why is he the one promising things? I zoom in on the kid's face, searching for something that makes sense. The boy looks maybe 4, maybe 5, I am guessing. He is clinging to my husband's neck like it is home. I realize there are dozens of photos like this, different days. Different outfits, different places, same easy closeness between them. I scroll higher because at this point I want to hurt myself. Old messages months back, him asking about school stuff and appointments. Her sending videos of the kid blowing out candles on cakes. My husband texting, "I wish I'd been there, give him a hug." A new message pops in while I'm still reading. From her. He keeps asking when you'll come over again, he is obsessed. My husband types back fast, bubble appearing before I can breathe. I'm trying, things are complicated right now, but I'm not going anywhere. I watch each word appear like he is speaking right in my face. Complicated. I am in our bathroom with his phone, and I had no idea life was complicated. The shower is still running down the hall, steady and loud. I check the time stamp on the thread, my chest tight. Last night, while he told me he had stayed late at work. There is a selfie of him and the kid at a diner. My heart stumbles. I remember him coming home with some story about traffic. We ate takeout on the couch, I asked about his day. He kissed my forehead and said it had been boring. I scroll down again, fingers moving too fast to control. The more I read, the less I recognized the man in these sentences. He uses words with her that he does not use with me. Proud of our little man, you two are my world. Our little man. My stomach turns like I swallowed a stone. I am not stupid, I know what that sounds like. I just really wanted it not to be what it sounds like. I tap one of the videos, volume low, hands shaking. The boy's voice bursts out, high and excited, calling my husband Dad. He waves at the camera like this is normal, like this is routine. My pulse jumps so hard my vision blurs for a second. I hit pause and stare at the frozen frame. My husband is in the background, laughing at something off camera. He looks relaxed, not like the distracted man I live with. I feel like I'm snooping on someone else's real life. This is the part where I should back away. Close the app, place the phone down, talk calmly later. That would be the grown-up move, the reasonable partner move. Instead, I scroll further, deeper into the part that will mess me up. Older messages, different year, same trio energy in every line. He reminds her about medicine, asks if the boy slept through the night. She sends him little updates like he lives there, like they coordinate everything. He replies, "You're not doing this alone, I've got you." I whisper out loud, "What are you doing?" I'm not even sure if I mean him or myself. My thumb hovers over the call button, wild impulse rising. I imagine hearing her voice and something in me pulls back hard. The water shuts off down the hall, sharp end to the noise. Instant drop in my stomach, like an elevator going down too fast. I lock the screen on reflex, then unlock it again, panic fighting guilt. I am still holding his whole secret in my hands. I glance at the doorway, expecting him to appear any second. Part of me wants to throw the phone into the sink. Another part wants him to walk in and see exactly what I saw. Both parts feel equally insane, and I freeze between them. Footsteps in the hallway, getting closer, slower than usual. The door opens, steam spilling in around him like nothing is wrong. He stops when he sees me with his phone, shoulders tightening for a second. Then he forces a smile, like we are in some Harmels. S sitcom. Hey, you all right? He wipes his face with the towel, eyes flicking to the screen. I tilt the phone so he can see the chat name. My thumb shakes, but my voice comes out clearer than I feel. Who is Maddie, and why is her kid calling you dad? The question hangs there, heavier than it sounded in my head. His jaw moves like he is chewing on a lie and picking one. He sets the towel down very carefully, like sudden movements might break me. It's not what you think. Classic line, instant alarm bell in my skull. He reaches for the phone, not grabbing, just hovering a hand. I keep my grip tight enough that my knuckles stand out. How many things am I supposed to think right now? My voice cracks on the last word, more anger than fear. He glances at the screen again, at the pictures of the boy. For a second his face softens in a way that is not about me. That look is the worst part. Tender, guilty, protective, all mixed into one quick flash. Then it is gone, replaced by that calm mask he uses in arguments. I realize I have never seen him look at me the way he looked at that photo. He pulls in a breath like he is about to pitch a story. Can we talk about this properly, not with you spying on my phone? The word spying hits me hard, twisting the blame in one swing. I feel my cheeks burn, which only makes me angrier. You lied about last night. I tap the diner picture, the boy grinning beside him. You were here with them while I thought you were at work. Each word pushes us both further from normal. He exhales through his nose, that slow sound he makes when cornered. I told you it's complicated, I was going to explain everything. Always later, always when it suits him, never when it could help me. I realize his plan probably involved me never touching this phone. He steps closer, hands out, like approaching a scared animal. You're overreacting right now, and I get why, but just breathe. The worst part is, a tiny piece of me wants to listen. Because if I calm down, maybe this stops being real. I don't move. I stay pressed against the counter with the phone between us. On the screen, the last message from him still glows. I'm not going anywhere. At that moment, staring at that line, I know something flipped for good. He thinks he can belong completely to two different worlds. One of them has a woman and a little boy calling him dad. The other one is standing barefoot in a bathroom, wondering when she became the extra. I follow him out of the bathroom without answering. My fingers still cling to his phone like it might bite. My mind runs 20 different versions of this talk at once. None of them end with me feeling safe. He goes straight to the bedroom and drops the towel. Come here, please. His voice is low and careful, the one he uses with clients. I stay near the doorway because distance feels like a shield. Can you give that back first? He nods at the phone in my hand, jaw tight. I don't move because I know if he takes it I lose proof. Not until you explain who that kid is. He rubs his face, then leans against the dresser with a sigh. He's just a kid I helped raise for a while. That one sentence hits harder than the whole thread I read. I stare at him, trying to see the version of him who did that. Helped raise. The words taste wrong in my mouth like I bit foil. How do you help raise a child I have never heard about? My voice comes out flat, which honestly scares me more than yelling. He glances at the floor, then back up at me with this soft look. I was with his mom for a long time before you. I lift my hand in the air to stop him from going further. He is already pushing toward history and excuses, and I feel myself bracing. I said no stories right now. My throat tightens as the next question jumps out. Does he think you are his father? That is the part clawing at my brain since the video. He hesitates long enough that I already know the truth. He calls me that sometimes. He shrugs like it is casual, like kids just hand out that word. I feel something in my chest go sharp and small. So he believes you are his father figure and you let that stand. My hand shakes around the phone, my pulse too loud. You walk around building a whole identity in another house. Each word feels like I am kicking my own legs out. He pushes off the dresser and steps closer, palms up. You're twisting this into something ugly when it is. He gestures toward the phone like it betrayed him. I stepped up when someone else ran away, that is all. I laugh short and harsh because the alternative is crying hard. You stepped up so hard you forgot to mention him to your wife. My own voice feels unfamiliar, like I borrowed it from someone tougher. There is a child out there who sees you as his person. He flinches at the word wife, just a little twitch around his eyes. I didn't forget, I just waited for the right time. That line almost makes me laugh again, but nothing about this is funny. How long does that waiting period usually last for you? He moves to the bed and sits, elbows on his knees. Can you sit down too? You look like you might faint. I stay where I am, body locked in place by anger. If I sit, I might start bargaining, and I hate that about myself. He is not my biological son. The words come out clipped, like he thinks that detail saves him. He had no one stable, his mom asked me to be involved. He looks up like that should win some moral prize. I swallow hard, my throat sandpaper, my palms damp. Okay, so you're attached to this boy, I get that. I hear myself trying to sound reasonable, and I want to shake myself. You still chose to hide that entire connection from me. He drags a hand through his hair, breathing heavier now. When we first started dating, I didn't know where things were going. He pauses, searching for words that sound good enough. By the time we were serious, telling you felt dangerous. Dangerous to what exactly? I step inside the room finally, just one slow step. Dangerous to your chance of keeping both lives running. The sentence lands between us like something thrown hard. You always do this. He lets out a humorless chuckle, shaking his head. You turn everything into some secret double life story in your mind. He looks at me like I am the dramatic one here. My face gets hot, embarrassment spiking through the fury. Because he is not completely wrong about my brain going worst case. I know I overanalyze, I know I connect dots fast. The thing is, this time the dots are holding his face and a kid. I'm not inventing anything here. I hold up the phone with the chat open again. Your words are right there, nobody forced you to type them. My hand trembles, but I keep the screen toward him. He stares at it for a full beat, jaw clenched. That little boy loves me. His voice drops on that sentence, heavier, almost pleading. I can't just walk away from him because you are uncomfortable. The phrase lands like a slap. Uncomfortable. That is the label he chooses for the crater he blew in our trust. I bite the inside of my cheek so I do not scream. So my options are what? My tone comes out colder than I feel inside. Get on board with your secret child attachment, or I am the problem. Even saying it out loud sounds ridiculous, but here we are. He stands up again, restless energy rolling off him now. He is not my secret child, and you know I didn't mean it like that. He paces a short line in front of the bed, hands flexing. I just need you to understand this isn't some affair situation. That word hooks into me fast. Affair. My mind jumps to all those messages filled with affection. Have you slept with her since we have been together? His whole body goes still. He looks right at me, eyes steady, for once not dodging. No. One word, sharp and fast, and I watch his face for any twitch. I do not know if I believe him honestly. Maybe that is unfair, maybe he is telling the truth there. Either way, it doesn't fix what I already know. He gave his heart to a whole setup that I never got told about. He must see something break across my face because his shoulders drop. I should have told you earlier. He grips the back of the chair near the desk like it steadies him. I kept thinking I'd find the perfect way to lay it out. I almost laugh again because there is no polite script for this. Hey honey, by the way, I co-parent a kid on weekends. The sentence runs through my head and actually makes me dizzy. I lean against the wall, nails digging into my palm to stay present. I didn't want to scare you off. He looks smaller when he says that, younger than I know he is. You've always wanted a family, and I was worried you'd see this as baggage. His eyes shine a little, and I hate that it still gets to me. There it is, the part of me that still loves him and hates that fact. Because he knows exactly where to aim when he talks about family. He knows I wanted one with him, not around him. The guilt starts pressing down on my anger, and I fight it hard. So instead of trusting me with the truth, you just managed me. The word manage tastes bitter and accurate. You edited your life and hoped I'd never look behind the curtain. He opens his mouth, then shuts it, which is answer enough. Silence stretches, heavy and uncomfortable, filling every corner of the room. I can hear traffic outside, some car horn in the distance, normal life. Inside our space, everything feels warped, like the furniture shifted somehow. I realize I am avoiding looking at our wedding photo on the dresser. You can be mad at me, I get it. He walks closer again, slow, like he is afraid I will bolt. But please stop acting like I cheated, I didn't replace you. His hand lifts like he wants to touch my arm, then stops halfway. I stare at that. Almost touch, and something inside my chest twists. Maybe you didn't replace me, maybe I never held that spot. The words come out in a whisper, and I hate how raw they sound. Because that is the fear chewing through me underneath all the rage. He closes his fingers into a fist, letting his hand drop back down. You are my wife, you are my partner, that has not changed. He puts extra weight on every word, like he can nail them into me. If anything, I was trying to protect what we have. Protect. That word lights something ugly in me now. Protecting me would have been telling me when I still had a choice. My voice shakes, but I do not pull it back this time. He looks away first, eyes landing on the closed closet door. I can't cut them out, I won't, so if that's what you want, I can't do it. There it is, the line in the sand, clear and unapologetic. He lays it down like a boundary, but it feels like an ultimatum. I sink onto the edge of the bed because my legs finally give. My head buzzes like there is static between each thought. Then you need to tell me what you actually expect from me here. The question hangs in the air, heavy and cruel. He kneels in front of me, hands resting on his knees, eyes searching my face. I want you to understand that he is part of my life, and that doesn't take away from you. He draws in a breath like he is about to say something risky. I was hoping eventually you might even meet him. Meet him? The idea slams into me like a sudden drop. Smile at this child and pretend I am just hearing about him now. Act normal while my brain screams that I was the last to know. I study his face, the hope there, the worry, the stubborn streak. This is not some temporary situation to him, this is rooted deep. He is not asking if I can tolerate a passing connection. He is asking if I can share my husband's heart with a family I never signed up for. I spot him across the street before the receptionist finishes her sentence. He is not in his office like he texted. He is on the sidewalk with a woman and that little boy from his phone. My hand tightens around the coffee tray so hard it creaks. Ma'am, he stepped out a few minutes ago. The receptionist sounds polite, totally unaware my world just slid sideways. Yeah, I see that. My eyes stay glued to the glass while my throat closes. The kid bolts toward him with this fearless run. My husband drops everything in his hands and crouches to catch him. The boy hits his chest and wraps his arms around his neck. I have never seen a hug land that hard on my marriage. I walk toward the door without really planning it. Every step feels weird, like I am moving underwater. From this distance, I hear it clear and bright. Daddy, you came. The sound tears through me. Hearing that word in real life is nothing like watching a video. My legs shake, but I keep going, pushing through the revolving door. I tell myself I need to see this up close, or I will gaslight myself. Outside, the air hits me with a rush, and I almost turn back. They are standing near the curb now, totally wrapped up in each other. The woman touches his arm while the kid talks nonstop. They look like a unit that rehearsed this meet up 100 times. He lifts the boy up onto his hip with practiced ease. I know that grip from the photos, it still stings seeing it live. The little one leans in and babbles about some school thing. My feet stop on the edge of the sidewalk because my courage stalls. Are you coming over later? The kid's voice carries just enough for me to catch it. You promised we'd finish the game tonight. That one sentence hits harder than any argument we had at home. I take another step forward, and they finally notice me. The woman's eyes flick toward me first, fast and sharp. My husband turns his head and his whole expression cracks. The smile he had for them drains out on contact. For a second, all three of us just stare at each other. I must look wild, standing there with office coffee and clenched jaw. He lowers the kid slowly, hands still on the boy's shoulders. His gaze jumps between me and her like he is doing math. Hey. The word drops out of his mouth small and useless. The kid looks between us, clearly confused by the sudden tension. The woman straightens her back like she is bracing for impact. I hold up the drink carrier like a flimsy prop. Thought I'd bring you something on your big busy day. My voice sounds calm, and that scares me more than yelling. He knows that tone, the one I use when I am done pretending. The woman's fingers twitch against her bag strap. You must be Aaron. Hearing my name in her mouth makes my stomach knot. So he has been talking about me, just not the important parts. That's me. I try a tight smile that probably looks more like a wince. And you're Maddie's. Saying her name out loud feels like pushing a bruise. Her lips press together for a moment as she stutty. Ease my face. Yeah. She glances at him, then back at me like she is checking the script. The kid tugs at my husband's hand, impatient with adult weirdness. Is this your friend? The boy looks up at him, waiting for the answer that defines me. Everything in me goes still while I wait to hear what role I play. My heart pounds so hard I can feel it in my teeth. My wife. He forces the word out quickly, almost too fast. There is this tiny flinch in Maddie's eyes when he says it. The kid frowns like someone changed the rules mid-game. Your wife. The little one repeats it like he is trying on a new word. He looks at me again, studying my face with open curiosity. The weight of his stare makes my chest burn. I crouch a little to meet his eyes, legs unsteady. Hey, nice to meet you. My voice softens in spite of everything, because none of this is his fault. That is what hurts the most, honestly, how blameless his face is. He leans closer to my husband, half hiding behind his arm. Do you live with her? The question is so simple it knocks the air out of me. He is not asking about romance, he is asking about placement. My husband gives a quick laugh that sounds painfully forced. Yeah, buddy, she lives with me. The kid nods like that answer is data for a chart in his mind. I file away that word buddy, because he never uses it with me. Maddie clears her throat, eyes locked onto mine now. We were just dropping something off for him. Her tone is light, but her shoulders are stiff. She is trying to steer this toward neutral ground, and I feel it. Funny timing. I straighten up, coffee still dangling from my hand like an afterthought. Since he told me he was buried at the office all morning. I let that lie hang there, heavy and obvious. My husband finally steps forward, putting himself slightly between us. Can we not do this out here? His jaw works like he is chewing back panic. The street noise feels louder with every second we stand there. The kid tugs his sleeve again, patience running out. Are you still coming over later like you said? He looks up with absolute trust that the answer will be yes. My stomach twists because I already know it will be. Maddie's eyes close briefly, like she just heard something she warned him about. She rests a hand on the boy's shoulder, gentle but firm. Hey, why don't you show me that sticker you brought? She steers his attention away, but the damage is done. Over. Like you said. Those tiny pieces slot into place in my brain with sick clarity. This is not a casual drop-in, this is routine. I stare at my husband's face, looking for any sign of shame. For a moment I catch something like regret in his eyes. Then the mask slides back and he turns toward me. We'll talk at home, okay? There it is again, that promise that everything will get explained later. Always later, always somewhere private, always on his schedule. I feel heat rush up my neck as a new thought hits me hard. If I leave now, this scene goes back to normal for them. No. The word comes out low but solid, surprising even me. We're going to talk right here for at least 30 seconds. My hands start to tremble, so I fix them around the coffee tray. Maddie's gaze sharpens like she is measuring how bad this could get. I can take him to the car. The boy looks up, sensing the shift even if he doesn't understand it. He reaches for my husband again, clearly unwilling to let go. Wait. The kid's voice wobbles a little, eyes shiny. You're still coming, right? You promised you wouldn't stop. That last word slices through me because I know exactly who did stop. My husband crouches to his level, panic ghosting across his face. Hey, I'm not going anywhere, okay? He ruffles the boy's hair and forces a warm smile. He has no idea how loud that line echoes from his messages. Watching him comfort this child cracks something open inside me. He looks so sure, so steady, so entirely his. It is the same man who could barely string a sentence together in our bedroom. I cannot ignore the difference anymore. Maddie guides the boy a few steps away, giving us a narrow bubble. She stays within earshot though, jaw clenched. I get it now, she has just as much to lose in this conversation. We are two women orbiting the same center of gravity. I lean in close enough that he has to meet my eyes. This is what you were trying to keep tidy. I gesture toward the sidewalk, toward the small figure clutching his hand. You wanted me to meet him smiling and clueless like some guest. His shoulders sag, the fight draining out of his posture for a moment. I was trying to give you time before everything collided. He drags a hand over his face, voice rough. Well, here we are. Yeah, here we are. Standing 10 feet from a kid who thinks my husband is his. Standing 3 feet from the woman who let him step into that role. Standing exactly nowhere that feels like mine. I push the coffee into his chest, harder than I mean to. You can keep your busy day fuel. My hand drops back to my side, empty and shaking. I'm going home before I say something I can't pull back from. He grabs my wrist lightly, not enough to hurt, just enough to stop me. Please don't just disappear, we need to talk this through. His eyes actually look scared now, and that almost weakens me. Almost. I pull my arm free, feeling his fingers slip away. You have my number, and obviously you have hers. The bitterness slips out before I can rein it in. Figure out which one you want to call first. I turn and walk toward the corner, each step heavier than the last. Behind me, I hear the kid call out Dad again, voice bright and curt. I do not look back because I already know how that picture ends. He goes to them, and I go home alone with the real story still missing. He walks through the door like nothing explosive happened outside his office. Keys drop in the bowl with the same casual clink as always. That tiny familiar sound makes my whole body tense. I stay on the couch and do not greet him. He notices me right away because I am sitting too straight. No TV on. No phone in my hand. Just me watching him like he is a stranger who misplaced his wedding ring. He shuts the door slower than usual, buying time with the latch. Okay. He lets out a breath that sounds halfway between exhausted and annoyed. Do you want to start or should I? You went with them. I skip hello because we are past that now. You watched me walk away and then you went with them anyway. My voice comes out steady but sharp enough to sting. He drops his bag near the entry and kicks off his shoes. Yeah, I went over there. He rubs the back of his neck and avoids my eyes. He was already upset before you showed up. The way he phrases it hits me wrong. Before I showed up. Like I crashed their scheduled program and ruined the vibe. Wow, sorry my existence interrupted your other household. He flinches at that, just a tiny twitch around his mouth. I am trying not to fight with you right now. He walks a few steps closer but stops short of the coffee table. You caught us in the middle of something important. Right, because my life is just background noise. The sarcasm comes out before I can filter it. I stand up because sitting makes me feel smaller than I already do. You told him you would not stop coming over. He drags in a slow breath and meets my eyes. I told him I would stay in his life, yes. His jaw tightens on the last word like he regrets it already. I am not going to break that promise. There it is again. This invisible contract he signed without me. Did he hear you call me your wife? The question slips out quieter than I planned. He looks away toward the wall like the paint might offer answers. I never hid that I was married. He shifts from foot to foot, restless energy all over him. I just did not want him to feel replaced. Replaced by who? The laugh that escapes me sounds nothing like a laugh. He is the one who has you at his place all the time. I spread my hands empty because I have nothing else left. He walks around the table and sits on the edge of the chair. Can you please sit down too? He pats the couch cushion like we are just talking about bills. I stay standing because anger is the only thing holding me up. You told me earlier that you helped raise him. I keep my voice level, each word deliberate. That did not feel like helping today, it felt like ownership. The image of that kid clinging to his neck flashes again. He leans forward with his elbows on his knees. I was there for a lot of his early stuff. His eyes soften in a way that used to make me melt. I did the day-to-day things when his mom needed support. I lift a hand to stop him going down the memory lane path. I said I did not want the history lecture right now. My chest feels tight, my heartbeat loud in my ears. I want something concrete, something I can actually measure. He frowns, caught off guard by that. What does that even mean? I nod toward the hallway, toward the small office space. It means you are going to show me everything you promised them. His shoulders rise, then fall, like he just remembered that email. Aaron, this is already hard enough. He winces at my name because he knows I hate when he uses it in fights. There are things in those messages that will hurt you for no reason. That is not your call anymore. I walk past him, not touching him, not slowing. If you want me to live with this, I need the whole picture. My footsteps sound loud against the floor, each one a decision. Behind me, I hear him stand and follow. He does not argue again, which scares me more than yelling would. He knows there is something there that changes the entire math. That knowledge sits between us like third person. In the office, the computer wakes with a tap of the mouse. He moves around me and takes the chair like a defendant. Can you at least try to remember that I love you? His voice comes out rough and it lands on me like a test. Open your email. I do not touch his shoulder, though my hand itches too. My body still remembers easing conflict instead of pushing it. My mind is done doing that unpaid job. He types in the password fast, fingers hitting the keys harder than necessary. The inbox fills the screen, subject lines marching down in rows. I spot her name in the sidebar before he can scroll. Click that one. He hesitates for a heartbeat, then selects the thread with Maddie's name. A list of messages appears, stacked down for what looks like forever. I swallow hard and pick one date almost at random in the middle. Start there. He clicks it and the text opens in the reading pane. For a second, neither of us talks. We just stare at a version of him that lived on her screen. My stomach twists as I scan the lines. He had sent it late at night, the timestamp shouting that at me. I read the first line out loud under my breath. I am not going anywhere, remember that. My throat tightens as I continue. You and our little guy are my priority. The words blur for a second and I blink them back into focus. I will always show up for you two, no matter what happens. There are more lines, but I stop there because I need air. I hear him exhale behind me, a thin, shaky sound. That was after his dad missed something big again. He rubs his hands together like he is trying to warm them. You have to understand how abandoned they felt back then. I spin on him fast. Back then, sure. I point at the screen, finger almost touching the glass. Tell me when that message was sent in relation to us. He glances at the date in the corner, then at me. That was before we were engaged. He says it quickly, like ripping off a bandage. We were still early at that point. Early but dating. Heat creeps up my neck, my palms suddenly damp. So you were already pledging yourself to them while trying things out with me. The way that sentence sounds makes my vision blur at the edges. He shakes his head fast, words stumbling over each other. It was not romantic between us at that point. He taps the arm of the chair, restless and cornered. It was about the kid, about stability. I hold his gaze, searching for something honest. You still put their names in a promise about always showing up. My voice drops lower, heavier. You used priority and always, while I thought we were building something real. He scrubs his face with both hands, dragging them down slowly. I cared about them long before I met you. He leans back and stares at the ceiling like it might offer help. That bond does not evaporate because my relationship status changes. And where am I supposed to fit in that sentence? I gesture toward the email like it offended me personally. You did not say, I will be there as long as my life allows. You wrote like they own the future already. He winces like the way I paraphrased it actually stabs. You are twisting my words. His voice rises for the first time tonight, sharp around the edges. I did what any decent person would do in that situation. I feel something snap inside me, small and final. Decent would have been telling the woman you married the full setup. I jab a finger toward the screen again, then toward my chest. You let me walk down the aisle without knowing you had already sworn loyalty elsewhere. He shoots up from the chair, pushing it back against the desk. I did not swear loyalty elsewhere. His hands cut through the air as he talks. I stepped into a role someone else laid on and I stayed. That is a vow. I do not shout, but my tone does not soften. That is a vow you never shared with me. Saying it out loud makes my eyes sting. He moves closer, close enough that I can see the lines around his eyes. You are my wife now, that is the vow that counts. He reaches for my hand but stops midway when I do not move. I picked you, I married you, I came home to you tonight. In between visits there. The words slip out like a cut. You bundled a broken-hearted child and his mother into some permanent corner of your life. Then you handed me the leftover space and called it marriage. His face hardens for a second, something cold passing through his expression. That is not what happened and you know it. He folds his arms like he is holding himself together. I refuse to abandon a child, that does not make you leftovers. It does when I find out this way. I gesture to the computer again, the email still glowing with his promises. I was supposed to know your heart, remember. Instead, I had to crack open your inbox like a stranger. He goes quiet at that, shoulders dropping a little. When he finally speaks, his voice is lower. You are Rig. HT about one thing. I should have told you what I wrote to her, word for word. It throws me for a second that he admits it so directly. He usually dodges with half-truths and softened language. Hearing him say I am right almost knocks the wind out of my anger. Almost. I point back to the chair, needing him to sit again before we spiral. Fine, then show me the rest. My chest feels heavy, each inhale like dragging a weight. I want to hear you read the worst parts out loud. He stares at me like I asked for something cruel. That is not going to help you trust me more. His fingers drum against his thigh, quick and uneven. It will just give you phrases to replay at 3 in the morning. Newsflash, I already have those. The image of the boy yelling "Dad" in the street flashes again. The only difference is now you know I am not guessing. I cross my arms so he cannot see my hands shake. After a long moment, he sinks back down onto the chair. He scrolls slowly, scanning the thread like he might censor it. I reach out and place my hand over his on the mouse. No editing, just pick one that feels honest. He swallows Adam's apple bobbing once. Then he clicks open another message, older than the first. I watch his eyes move over the lines, guilt creeping into his expression. Read it. He nods once barely, then begins. I know you're scared I will leave, but I won't. His voice sounds smaller, repeating his own words. I am in this with you and him, you are my family. That last line hits like a physical shove. My lungs forget their job for a second. He closes his eyes briefly after finishing the sentence. I stare at him because I cannot look at the screen anymore. You told her she was your family. The words feel heavy and bitter on my tongue. Not just him. You put yourself right in the middle of that picture. He opens his eyes and looks up at me face tight. We lived together at that time, it felt true. He rubs his forehead with his fingers, voice raw. You are dragging context into the present like nothing changed. I am dragging your loyalty into the present. I grip the back of the extra chair to stay grounded. You wrote that and never took it back. You just added me on top like extra furniture. He stands again, unable to stay still in the chair. I did not add you on top. He moves closer, frustration sparking in his eyes now. I shifted everything when I married you. Did you? The question comes out soft but loaded. Because you still spend nights over there when he needs you. And you still write messages that sound like shared parenthood. He opens his mouth, closes it, then tries again. It is shared parenthood. He squeezes his hands together, knuckles pale. Not in a legal sense, but in reality, that is what it is. The word reality spins around in my head for a second. In reality, I never agreed to be part of this arrangement. I hear my voice crack and I hate that he hears it too. In reality, I thought we would build our own thing together. You still can. He reaches out and this time his fingers brush my forearm. We still can. He sounds like he believes that, and I resent that hope. How? I step back so his hand drops away. Tell me the version where I am not constantly competing with something I cannot match. Because I will never be the woman who helped him learn to talk. His face falls a little at that, eyes flicking toward the hallway. There is no competition here. He sounds almost desperate now. You and he are not fighting for the same slot. Then why do I feel like a side character in my own marriage? The question hangs in the air between us. I did not plan those words, they just tore their way out. Once they are out, I cannot pull them back. He presses his fingers against his temple, eyes squeezed shut. I am trying to balance two responsibilities that both matter. He drops his hand and looks at me exhausted. I thought I could protect you by keeping pieces separate. Protect me from what? I gesture toward the glowing screen, toward the entire mess. From understanding your real priorities. Because that is what this looks like when everything is side by side. He stares at the monitor for a long second, then exhales hard. Fine. He taps a few keys and opens a new blank email window. If you want proof of where I stand now, I will give it. I frown, thrown off by the change in direction. What are you doing? My heart speeds up again, suspicion overriding curiosity. Who are you writing? He looks at me instead of the screen. I am writing to her. His fingers hover over the keyboard, hesitation back in his eyes. I will spell out that I am married and that you come first. A weird feeling climbs up my spine as he says that. Part of me wants to see it in writing. Another part feels like this is just another performance. Like he is about to stage a grand gesture instead. Deep change. Will you mean it? I hear the roughness in my own voice and almost hate myself. I sound like someone begging for reassurance, not a partner. Or are you just trying to calm me down tonight? He drops his hands from the keyboard and leans back again. That is exactly the problem. He laughs once, humorless and tired. Anything I say right now will sound like strategy to you. Maybe because it usually is. I do not flinch away from that accusation. Look at tonight, you broke news only when forced, never by choice. You manage perception, you do not share reality. Silence settles in again, thicker than before. I can hear the faint hum of the computer and my own uneven breathing. He stares past me, lost somewhere inside his head. I wonder for a second who he imagines himself disappointing more, me or them. Finally, he straightens and closes the email window without typing. I will not send something written in this kind of chaos. He pushes away from the desk and stands. That would be about you feeling better, not about clarity for them. So you still want to protect her first. The sentence flies out of me like a thrown object. I regret the wording instantly, but I do not take it back. It is what I feel in that exact second. He shakes his head, looking genuinely torn now. I am trying to stop making promises I cannot keep. He gestures at the screen, the old words still open behind us. I already messed that up once. You know that moment when you realize there may not be a version that does not hurt. That is where I am standing in that office. Either he cuts them off and destroys that boy's stability. Or he keeps them and I live with this constant third presence in my marriage. I let go of the chair and step toward the doorway. We are not resolving this tonight. My arms feel heavy at my sides, like they do not belong to me. I need space from your explanations and your drafts. He moves quickly, blocking the hallway with his body. Please do not leave. His eyes are wet now, voice rough around the edges. At least stay here even if you do not want to talk. I am not walking out of the apartment. I tilt my head toward the bedroom. I am going in there and shutting the door. I do not want you coming in after me tonight. That lands harder than any insult could. He looks like I just hit him across the face. He nods slowly once like he is accepting a sentence. Okay. I brush past him without touching, every nerve buzzing. As I reach the doorway, I glance back at the computer. The email with "You are my family" is still open on the screen. I know that sentence will replay in my mind for a long time. When I close the bedroom door behind me, the click feels final. He stays on the other side, footsteps retreating down the hall. We are in the same home, separated by more than wood and paint. And somewhere across town, a little boy is sleeping safe, certain that his dad will never leave. I unlock my phone before the alarm even finishes buzzing. No messages from him. No missed calls. Just the same old threads and one new ache sitting in my chest. He is in the kitchen moving around quietly, giving me distance. I stay under the blanket and open his ex's contact. My thumb hovers over the keyboard while my heart slams against my ribs. If I start this, there is no going back to not knowing. I type a long paragraph, then erase the whole thing. I try again, angrier this time, delete that one too. Every version sounds either hysterical or fake calm. Finally, I write the simplest thing I can manage. This is his wife, I think we need to talk. I stare at the words until my eyes sting. My thumb trembles over the send button, then presses down anyway. For a moment nothing happens and I almost throw up. 3 dots appear almost instantly. Then vanish. Then appear again. So she has been waiting for this possibility too. Yeah, I figured you'd text eventually. That is her first reply. No greeting, no surprise, just resigned. It hits me in a weird place. I swallow and wipe my palm on the sheet. What exactly is he to you right now? I watch the dots blink on and off like a heart monitor. My pulse jumps every time they disappear. To me or to my son? That is what she writes next. My chest tightens at the way she separates those two roles. She is already more honest in one line than he was in days. Both. I send it before I can overthink the word. There is a longer pause this time, enough to make me doubt this whole thing. Then my screen lights up again. He's the only consistent parent my kid has had, that's the truth. I exhale through my teeth, anger and sympathy fighting inside me. It is hard to argue with that without sounding cruel. So I do not argue, I pivot. And you. 2 words, but they feel heavy as stone. I need her to stop hiding behind motherhood for a second. I need to know where she stands in this triangle. Dots. Stop, start, stop again. I picture her somewhere across town, thumb pausing like mine did. When the message finally lands, my stomach flips. He's the person I built a life with once. It fell apart, he never stopped coming back. I blink at the screen, that last sentence burning into my brain. He never stopped coming back. Of course he didn't. From the kitchen, I hear the clink of a plate on the counter. The normal sound feels almost insulting right now. I turn on my side, back to the door, and keep typing. Did he tell you he was honest with me about any of this? Not really. The answer arrives so fast it almost makes me laugh. She sends another one before I can respond. He said you get anxious, that you take it the wrong way. My face goes hot like she reached straight into my worst fear. There it is, the version of me he sold her. Unstable, overreacting, not ready for the truth. I grip the phone tighter, nails digging into my skin. Did I take it the wrong way? I add a question mark, but I already know what I think. I am almost curious which side she will pick. Her answer takes longer this time. You took it the only way anyone would, you're not crazy. I lie there staring at that line, eyes blurring for a second. Hearing that from her of all people punches through some fog. He kept us in separate stories and we still landed in the same place. Can we talk for real? Her next text comes while I am still swallowing that thought. Text is going to turn into screenshots and weapons, I'm tired. I read that twice before answering. I hesitate because a call feels harder to control. You can ignore a message, you can't mute a voice in your ear. At the same time, I want to hear how she sounds when she says his name. I want to know if she carries the same exhaustion I do. Okay, call me. I send my number before I can change my mind. A second later, my screen lights up with an incoming call. My heart jumps into my throat when I see her name. I slip out of bed and close myself in the bathroom. My hands shake as I hit accept and hold the phone up. Hello. My voice comes out small, not at all how I planned. Hey. Her voice is lower than I expected, rough around the edges. There is no fake sweetness in it, just wary honesty. For a beat, neither of us knows where to start. So, I sit on the closed toilet lid, staring at the floor. Thanks for picking up, I guess. The words sound awkward but real. I figured you deserved answers from me, not just from him. I can hear a faint echo behind her, like she is in a kitchen too. She sighs quietly, then pushes on. Ask what you actually want to know, not the surface stuff. That throws me because most people dance around the worst parts. She is offering to go right for the wound. It scares me how badly I want that. I take a breath and jump. Did he ever tell you he wanted your family back after we got serious? There it is. The question that has been gnawing at my spine since yesterday. On the other end, she goes quiet. When she speaks again, her voice has changed. You're going straight in, huh? There is a tiny sad laugh in there, nothing actually amused. Yeah, he did. My lungs forget how to work for a second. I grip the edge of the sink to keep myself steady. How long ago? The words scrape on the way out. Before your wedding, after the engagement party. Hearing those markers makes my head spin. I picture myself in a dress picking flowers while he typed. My stomach rolls. He told me he was engaged, but he made it sound negotiable. Her voice tightens on that last word. He said he made a responsible choice, that you were dependable, that you wanted all the same things. I close my eyes as she keeps talking. He also said if I wanted to try again, he would call it off. The room tilts a little at that. I rest my forehead against my arm for balance. I knew the answer would hurt, but this still knocks me sideways. He actually said that. My voice cracks and I hate it, but I do not hide it. I am not putting extra drama on it. She sounds tired more than anything. I still have the messages if you need to see them. The idea of seeing those words scares me and tempts me both. Screenshots would turn this from story to evidence. Part of me wants to stay on the story side a little longer. What did you say to him then? It matters to me, maybe more than it should. Did she hesitate? Did she imagine sliding back into that picture? I said no. That answer lands like a dropped weight. There is no pride in it, just resignation. I told him he was doing the right thing for once. For once. The phrase echoes in my mind with a bitter edge. He told me he loved me, that he still saw a future with us. Her words come out softer now. He called you a safe match, not some big love story. I let out a shaky breath, half laugh, half choke. Safe. Of course. He used those words. I need to hear it exactly, even if it cuts. She hesitates for a heartbeat, then continues. Responsible, solid, good at life. He said you'd make a great mom. The way she lists those traits feels like reading a review. Accurate maybe, but not enough. I always knew I was the reliable one, I just didn't know I was the fallback. Heat pricks behind my eyes again. He told me he owed it to you to follow through unless I changed my mind. Her voice cracks a little there. That is how he framed it, duty versus love, basically. She falls quiet, letting that hang. I sit there, heart pounding against my ribs. You know when a puzzle suddenly shows the whole picture? That is exactly how it feels in that moment. Ugly and clear and way too late. So he walked down the aisle with me while hoping you'd call. I say it because not saying it feels worse. I don't know if he was literally waiting at the altar for a text. She exhales long and shaky. But yeah, he kept his phone too close during that time. The admission makes my skin crawl. I think back to tiny moments that suddenly feel different. My mind starts to rewrite our whole engagement in real time. I am sorry. Her voice is firmer on that. I kept thinking he would tell you himself once things settled. She pauses, then corrects herself. Or maybe I hoped the truth would push him one way or the other. I can hear her shifting, maybe leaning on a counter. He was living in between, and we both let him for too long. That part stings because she is not wrong. You kept letting him come back though. I am not accusing, not fully, more like stating what we both know. He would not have had a second life without an open door. The silence after that is heavy. I did, and I own that. She does not dodge it, which I respect and also hate. He was good with my son, and I wanted that stability. There is a dull ache under every word she says. I told myself I could separate his role as a parent figure from everything else. She laughs once, bitter and tired. Turns out you cannot split a person like that without someone getting wrecked. She lets that sit between us. I think about the little boy's face from the street. The way he clung to my husband's arm like an anchor. It is hard to resent a kid for wanting consistency. It is much easier to resent the man who created this mess. Did he ever tell you he would leave me? The words come out almost whisper light. I hate that I even ask, but I need the full damage. I need the edges of this thing defined. He said he would if I asked. She does not sugarcoat it, and I appreciate that twisted courtesy. He told me he would figure out how to make you hate him first. My whole body goes cold at that. Make me hate him. I repeat it because I honestly cannot believe it. So he would sabotage our marriage to free himself? Great. I hear the bitterness in my own voice and do not pull back. I never took him up on it. Her tone sharpens there. I am not giving myself a halo, but I did not want to be that story. She exhales again, then adds something quieter. And I did not trust him enough by then to blow your life up for another chance. That last part settles in my chest like a lead weight. She did not believe him, but I did. I was the only one still buying what he sold. Why are you telling me all this now? I ask it honestly, not as a challenge. She could have lied or kept it vague. Instead, she is stripping both of us bare. Because he will clean it up for you. Her voice is blunt, almost clinical. He will tell the version where he was confused, torn, doing his best. I close my eyes because she is describing him exactly. You need someone who saw the unedited cut. There is a beat of quiet after that line. I hear a faint clatter on her end, maybe dishes or toys. Real life moving on while we dissect this man in the middle. You still care about him. It is not a question, just a fact laid out. Her answer is instant anyway. Yeah, I do. The honesty of that hurts more than any denial would. Do you want him back? That one is a question, and I hold my breath. Her reply takes the longest yet. I want my kid to keep his dad figure, and I want my own life back. She sounds exhausted saying it. Those two things do not line up neatly anymore. She lets those words settle, heavier than anything else tonight. You need to understand something though. Her tone shifts, more urgent now. He built his whole, I am a good man identity around not abandoning us. I picture him on the balcony, voice low on late calls. He will cling to that role no matter what happens to your marriage. That line goes straight through me. Because I know she is right. He has anchored his conscience there. So where does that leave me? The question sounds pathetic in my own ears. I am asking the other woman to define my place. But she is the only one not lying to me right now. Honestly, he pauses and I hear her take a breath. It leaves you deciding if you can live with a husband whose heart is split like that. She continues before I can answer. And if you can't, you need to leave him in a way that doesn't crush my son. The way she says my son is sharp, protective, non-negotiable. He did this, not you, not that kid. I nod even though she cannot see me. I am not going to blame a 6-year-old for anything. The number slips out without thinking. I do the quick math in my head and it twists my gut. That is a lot of time to build a bond. You asked what he is to me now. Her voice softens only a little. He is family who betrayed me, and also the only father my boy knows. She lets that contradiction hang in the air. You asked what he is to you. She pushes on before I can argue. You are the partner he picked when I told him I was done. My throat tightens as she lands the last blow. He married you because I refused, and he stayed because walking away from my kid would shatter his hero story. The room feels smaller with those words echoing off the walls. My free hand curls into a fist against my leg. I do not know if I want to scream or vomit or both. Where does that leave any of us? It slips out before I can stop it. She laughs once, a dry, broken sound. Stuck with the same man and very different losses. We sit in silence, just breathing into two phones in two separate places. For the first time since this blew up, I do not feel alone in the crazy. I feel furious, humiliated, strangely allied with the woman I was taught to fear. And underneath all of that, one thought keeps repeating. When he walks through this bedroom door next time, he will still think he can fix this with one more speech and one more promise. He has no idea I just heard the version where I was never the first choice, only the option that let him keep his favorite title. I drag the suitcase out of the closet so hard it bangs the wall. The call with her is still ringing in my ears like a fire alarm. Clothes go in fast, no folding, just fists and fabric and shaking hands. I am not sure if I am leaving for a night or for good, and that scares me. The bedroom door rattles once, then his knuckles tap soft. Can I come in? His voice is muffled, careful, like I am something fragile behind glass. The suitcase zipper snags halfway, and I yank it loose instead of answering. He tries again, louder this time. I know you're awake. Of course he knows, the whole apartment feels wired and electric. I swallow hard, then unlock the door and step back. He opens it slowly, eyes going straight to the suitcase. For a second he just stands there, fingers tight on the handle. You're really doing this? He looks more stunned than angry, which somehow hurts more. I grip the edge of the dresser so I do not start pacing. I talk to her. The words land in the space between us like a thrown stone. His shoulders jerk before he gets control of his face. What do you mean you talked to her? He closes the door behind him, shutting us into this box. I raise my phone, a little screen still lit with the call history. I mean, I called the woman you built your other life around. He blinks once, twice, like his eyes are dry. That was not your place. His voice drops tight and sharp at the edges. You had no right to drag her into our argument. That line almost makes me laugh, bitter and short. She was already in it. I gesture toward the rest of the apartment, then toward the floor. You just kept me in the dark while you played referee. He steps closer, hands lifting then dropping without touching me. She has enough on her plate, you didn't need to pile this on. I bite down a harsh response and choose the sharpest point instead. She told me about the night you offered to cancel our wedding. The color drains out of his face faster than I imagined it could. What did she say exactly? He sounds cautious now, like each word might trigger a mine. I do not look away. She said you told her you would end things with me if she wanted you back. My voice comes out calmer than I feel, which is unsettling. You called our engagement the sensible decision and waited for her answer. His jaw clenches so hard I can see the muscle jump. It wasn't like that. He drags a hand over his mouth, pacing 2 short steps. I was confused and scared and trying to do the responsible thing. I exhale through my nose sharp because I knew that excuse was coming. The responsible thing would have been not proposing while still hoping she would change her mind. The words snap out before I can soften them. You treated my life like a backup plan you could cancel if something better opened up. My chest tightens as I say it out loud. He presses his palm to his forehead and stares at the carpet. I never thought of you as a backup plan. He shakes his head, voice rough and uneven. I thought of you as someone I could count on, and I panicked. Cool. The word tastes sour leaving my tongue. So you knew I would hold everything up while you tried to fix the old dream. My hands curl into fists at my sides, nails biting skin. I was trying not to blow up anyone's world. He looks up finally, eyes red around the edges. I felt like I was being pulled in 2 directions and I froze. He takes a step closer, then another, as if that will help. You did blow up my world. I point at the suitcase, then at my own chest. Just on a delay so it looked clean while you walked down the aisle. My throat burns, but I keep my spine straight. He stops in front of me but does not reach out. I love you. The words fall out fast like he is trying to plug a leak. That has always been real, whatever else was happening. I let that sit for a second, then nod once. I believe you love me in your way. His shoulders loosen a fraction, like he thinks he has a foothold. I do not let him keep it. But I also believe you loved having me and still chasing that old story. I watch his eyes flinch at old story. You built a version of yourself where you never abandoned that kid. You stuck me in the space that was left over. He shakes his head, almost panicked now. There was no space left over. He reaches toward my arm finally, fingers brushing my skin. I thought I could be everything at once and keep everyone safe. You were careful with them. My voice drops, and for the first time he looks a little ashamed. You were reckless with me because you assumed I would adjust. I pull my arm away from his hand, slow but final. Silence stretches between us, heavy, not empty. He looks around the room like he expects an answer to appear somewhere. Then his gaze lands back on the suitcase. You walking out does not fix any of this. No, it doesn't. I lean back against the dresser, legs suddenly unsteady. It just stops me from pretending I am okay being the second choice in my own house. My eyes burn, but I do not wipe them. He takes another step, like distance is the main issue here. You are not the second choice. His voice rises, frustration spilling through. If you were, I would not have married you. You married me because she told you to follow through. I watch the shock move across his face when I say that. Those are her words, not mine, and you know it's true. He opens his mouth, then closes it without speaking. I wanted to be here. The sentence comes out smaller than his earlier declarations. I did not drag myself to the altar, I walked. He stares at me like he is begging me to see that part. I am not saying you hated being with me. I rub my thumb over the edge of the dresser, grounding myself. I am saying you treated my whole future like a backup option you could revise. And I am finally done living inside someone else's contingency plan. He takes a step back and sinks onto the foot of the bed. His shoulders slump, his hands dangle between his knees. You are punishing me for being honest with you now. He looks up, eyes shining. I let out a short, humorless sound. You are not being honest, you are cornered. I sit on the chair across from him so we are eye level. If I had not found those messages, would you have told me any of this? He stares at me, then away, then back again. I don't know. That answer lands harder than any perfect speech could. At least it is real. That's the problem. I lean my elbows on my knees, feeling suddenly older. You do not tell the truth, you react when truth gets exposed. I watch that sink in behind his eyes. He drags his palms down his thighs, breathing uneven. What do you want me to do right now? The question sounds raw and helpless, and I hate that it hits me. Because once, that tone would have made me fold instantly. I want something impossible. My voice comes out soft, but every word is clear. I want to go back and only marry someone who did not put me on a scale with another life. I let the impossibility hang there between us. He swallows hard, then straightens a little. I cannot change what I did, but I can change what I do next. He gestures toward the door, toward the rest of the apartment. We can separate from them, we can set actual limits. The suggestion shocks me enough that I blink. You would pull back from that boy just to keep me. My chest tightens at the picture of that kid waiting at a window. Be honest, could you actually live with that? He hesitates, and that pause is everything. His eyes drop to the floor, shoulders curling inward again. No, I could not. He says it quietly like a confession. Then do not offer it. I stand up again, energy flaring and then dropping. Do not promise to cut someone out when we both know you would resent me forever. And I would resent myself for asking. He looks up like he is seeing me properly for the first time in days. So what then? I just lose you instead. His voice cracks on lose, and for a second I see the man I fell for. Not the liar, just the scared person under that mess. You might. I grip the handle of the suitcase just to have something solid. Or you might get a version of me that can look at you without wondering whose bench I am on. Right now, that version does not exist. He stands fast, closing the distance between us in 2 steps. Please don't go. His hand hovers near my face, then drops. I can work on this. I can prove I am not just using you. I meet his eyes and hold them, even though it hurts. Therapy won't rewrite the fact that you were ready to toss me if she snapped her fingers. I feel my mouth tremble on the last word, but keep going. I am not staying here hoping you finally pick me without reservations. You are twisting what happened into some movie choice. He paces to the window, then back again, agitation rising. It was never her or you on a scoreboard like that. He rakes his hand through his hair, eyes wild. I know life is not a simple split screen. I lean against the dresser again, body suddenly tired. But you offered her an out from my future, and you never told me. That is not confusion, that is strategy. He stops pacing, breathing hard now. I hated myself for that conversation. He rubs his thumb over his wedding band, twisting it. I kept telling myself I stuck by you, that I made the right call. You did not stick by me, you followed momentum. The sentence comes out before I can edit it. Right call would have been not dragging me into vows while your heart was still split. I watch the words land on him one by one. He sags back down onto the mattress like someone cut his strings. I don't know how to fix this without hurting someone. He sounds defeated in a way I have never heard before. You, him, her, myself. You can't. I pull the zipper up slowly, the sound loud in the quiet room. That is the point, there is no version where everyone walks away untouched. We're already cut, we're just choosing where the scar lands. He stares at the suitcase like it is a verdict. Where are you even going? His voice is hoarse now, words thick. I shrug one shoulder, the movement small and shaky. A friend has a couch. I do not offer a name or address. The specifics do not matter, just the fact that it is not here. Long enough for me to remember what it feels like to breathe without checking your phone. You are running away. It comes out sharp, reflexive, reflex more than logic. I nod because in some ways he is right. And you are still standing in 2 doorways at once, so we are even. He flinches like I slapped him. Then he lowers his head and lets out a long breath. I don't want to lose you over something that happened before the wedding. We both know it did not stop then, and that knowledge sits between us. I pick up the suitcase and test the weight. He reaches out like he might grab the handle, then pulls his hand back. Will you at least tell me if this is a separation or a divorce? The word divorce makes my stomach clench. I do not know yet. That is the only honest answer I have. I am not making that call while still this raw, I would just aim to hurt. And I am tired of hurting for sport. He nods slowly, eyes wet but not blinking. Will you talk to someone with me, a counselor or something? The plea in his voice slices through my anger. I think about it for a long moment. Maybe later. I shift the suitcase closer to the door. If I stay for sessions right now, they will just be me rereading your emails out loud. I need distance before I can even decide if I want to repair anything. He moves aside when I step toward the hallway. He does not try to block me this time. His fingers scrape across the doorframe as if he needs to hold something. I will keep showing up if you let me. You always do. I say it quietly, not even sure if it is praise or criticism. It is just not always where I thought you were. I step into the hallway before I lose my nerve. By the front door, my shoes wait like they always have. I slip them on with clumsy hands, everything feeling too loud. He stands a few feet away, still in the same t-shirt from last night. He looks smaller somehow, even though nothing physical changed. If you go, he loses you too. The words boom out of him suddenly, desperate and raw. My kid, he thought you were just busy, he knows your name. That hits in a place I was not prepared for. I pause with my hand on the handle, heart twisting. He knows I exist. It is not really a question, but he nods anyway. He has seen our photos, he asked when he would meet you. My throat closes for a second and I have to look away. Of course he told that little boy about me in some soft, filtered way. Of course, I am part of the story in that house without ever stepping inside. That reallys. Asian lands heavy and crooked. I am not his mother. My voice shakes, but I do not let it break. I would have tried to be something to him if you had given me a choice. But right now, I am still trying not to drown in your secrets. He swipes at his cheeks like the tears annoy him. He is going to ask why things are different. I know what he is really asking. He wants to know how I expect him to explain this without making me the villain. Tell him grown-ups messed up. I look at him again, make sure he is paying attention. Tell him you care about him and that stays the same. Leave my name out of any blame you dish out. He nods, jaw tightening like he is clamping something down. I don't know how to be the man you need and the man he needs at the same time. The admission hangs in the air like smoke. For once there is no offer, no plan, just truth. I don't know if that man even exists. My hand presses harder on the metal of the handle. And I'm done bleeding myself dry while you try to invent him. My chest hurts, but under the pain there is a weird clean line. He takes one last step forward, close but not touching. If you ever decide you still want this, I will be here. His voice cracks halfway through, but he forces the sentence out anyway. I won't give up on us. That's the thing. I stare at him, memorizing his face in this exact moment. You never wanted to give up on anything, you just stacked lives and hoped no one would notice the weight. I twist the handle down and feel the latch release. The door opens with a soft click that sounds louder than any shout. Cool air drifts in and bumps against my overheated skin. For a heartbeat, I want to slam it shut and pretend none of this happened. Instead, I pull the suitcase after me and step into the hallway. Behind me, I hear his breath hitch, but he does not follow. I do not know where I am sleeping tomorrow or next week. I do not know if we will sign papers or sit in counseling chairs. All I know is that I am finally walking out of the role of consolation prize. The door closes on its own with a quiet thud. On the other side, there is a man who loves a child and also loves me, but never learned how to choose without turning someone into a safety net. On this side, there is just me, a suitcase, and the first real chance to find out if I want a life where I am not standing in the shadow of a promise I never heard him make.